So families are so important to us, and yet they create some of our greatest learning experiences. So what I wanted to talk with you today about is maybe how we can look at our families at a higher level. So we're going to go metaphysical. Metaphysically, we know that we pick our parents and we pick our family. We pick the dynamic that we want to be born in, right? We all know we've chosen that particular mother and father and that family dynamic so we can have the experiences that we need. Yes? Yep. But yet, when we get older and we speak of our mother or our father, don't we speak of them in a kind of a funny way? My mother called. You know, oh, my dad, oh, be careful. Even those of us that are wonderful and good, like I am. I was shocked, I tell you, when Noel was dating a young man a couple years ago, I don't know, and he had gotten, he was talking to her brother, Brian, about his fear of meeting her dad. You know, just afraid to meet Patrick. And Brian, her brother, said, "Oh, do not be afraid to meet Patrick. Be afraid to meet Cindy." Be very afraid to meet Cindy. So where in the plan of all these divine appointments does everything break apart? You know, we actually choose these people to help us, and then things kind of shift and change a little bit. So what happens between the great plan and unconditional love and adulthood when everything looks so conditional? It all looks conditional at this point. All right, people love you, they love you, but there's always this thing like they want something from you. In our family, oh, what do they want? This is how we treat our earthly family. So I wanted to talk with you for a moment about the energetic patterns of the family. And we're going to focus first on our earthly family, because that's where our association begins. When we are born, we have the DNA connection. We're taking on the pattern of the physicality of our mother and father. We have the energetic connection. We're taking on the patterns that they brought into our body, those that serve us. And then we have this wonderful thing. We're this beautiful child of God, and we come into this beautiful infant body, and they give us this extra gift. They wipe our memory. So we forget that we're a child of God. And every parent will tell you, this child came to me and I have no user manual. Well, the child's going, what do I do here? It's coming in as clean and as clear as it can be. And it looks to that mommy and daddy to tell it, how am I supposed to live? Tell me what to do. How do we act here? What language do we speak this time around? You know, what am I supposed to do? What do you expect of me? And really, from birth to 6 years old, the child is developing an identity that is specifically tied to its clan. Do you realize that? It's all about mommy, daddy, and clan. It's all about who am I in the clan, and its identity. It doesn't remember who it was, but its identity is tied now to this physicality. Then, we still have our own little spark, our little truth, but we're now defined by family. Then from 8 to 12, we go through the phase of defending family. This is when we get our power and our strength by saying our family is better than your family. My mom's better than your mom. Do you remember going through those days? Well, we're right and you're wrong. And the little 8 to 12-year-old will actually take the political position of the parents, the religious position of the parents. They're little mimics. Because why? My family needs to be right for me to have strength and identity, because my identity is locked in with my family. Yeah? Then we hit the magical age, 13-ish. And from that point forward to the rest of our lives, our inner spark wants to shine. Who we are, that little spark that's kind of been watching, taking notes, it says, oh no, I've got something I need to do, so it starts to move forward. And sometimes we call that rebellion. But it's actually refinement. It's that little spark trying to find its way in the world. And that stays forever in motion. So, virtually 90% or greater of all adults will tell me they cannot be themselves when they are with their family. I cannot let my light shine when I'm in the presence of my parents, when I'm in the presence of my siblings, when I'm in the presence of people that I was raised with. Now, you may be the exception to that, but most people go through that realization. That's why you can be 60 years old and go visit an 80-year-old mother and become 12 again. Because you have not given yourself the right to shine in the family dynamic. And this is the key. It's all about identity. Who am I in my family? Who am I as I create my way in the world? And who am I as I create my family? Identity. Who am I in my family, my original earth family? Who am I as I create my way in the world? And who am I as I create my earthly family? And amazingly, who you are in your original family and who you are as you create your family is strikingly similar. You may give yourself permission to be who you are when you are out in your own world, but when you come back into family dynamic, you tend to mirror that which was originally created within you. Some of you are still young and haven't given birth to children, and this is the magical thing. It starts when you have children. You can say, no, I have a healthy, happy relationship with my spouse. Well, yes, but when children are involved, you immediately revert back to what you learned in your earthly family. And the old parable, you become your mom, you become your dad, the things we dread. So, we have 3 identities that we're all trying to work through. And this is what they said. An identity, as I identify something within me that needs to express, I create an agreement to ensure that it is expressed. I'll say this again. As I identify something within me that needs to be expressed, I will create an agreement with the world that ensures I get to express it. And we call those chords. Chords of agreement. From the time we're born, when we need to feel safe, or we need to feel approved of, or we need anything, we have any need, and we find that a particular pattern gives us that need. From little babies smile, I smile. I'm just exercising my mouth here. Oh, and it delights my mommy figure. Well, then I shall learn to smile. Because as I smile, mommy likes me, so I shall smile more. And now we have an agreement. Mom, I'm going to smile for you. You like me. Sometimes it's a talent. Little child sings, gets a lot of approval. Oh, mental note. As I sing, I get approval. So the pattern and the agreement with the world, I will sing for you if you approve for me. Are y'all aware of all these things? By the time you reach adulthood or the rebellion stage or teenage years, do you realize how many chords of agreement are already in place? And these chords have one function: to get your needs met. The problem is they also have the flip side of the coin, that you are compromising for that need. I'm singing when I don't want to sing just because I need approval. You see? We're locking ourselves into this behavior of energy exchange in limitation. And this is when love becomes conditional. This is when the beautiful unconditional love and acceptance becomes conditional. All right. We need to learn to create without creating chords. I was reminded of just a wee little story when I was a child. I was born to do this work, this healing work that I do, because I couldn't have been older than 3 years old. I moved from Texas when I was 3, so I had to have been younger than 3. My brother was a year younger, my sister a year older, so there were 3 of us. Probably 2, 3, 4. My mom would throw us in the bathtub at the same time. We're in the bathtub, we're having a good time. She's yapping, we're yapping. We're all having a good time. We're having a good time. I don't know what she was saying. She was probably saying what she always said. We were doing what we always do. And this big, huge monster of a father came in the door with his belt in his hand. "You're not minding your mother." And I remember as a 3-year-old, in my mind, clearly thinking something along these lines. What is wrong with him? Does he not know this is what we do every day? This is the agreement we have with the mom. This is what we all do 24/7. We act like this, she acts like that. What is your problem? And, of course, then we all got punished. And I remember thinking, wow, Did it change my agreement with my mom? Absolutely not. That was a Pact Agreement. We had a group agreement. We were all in on it. We would behave the way we chose, she would behave the way she chose, and we were all happy everybody's needs were getting met. He then proceeded to try to break that Pact Agreement for the next 10 years. And we would laugh at him. Because you can't break someone's agreement unless you're involved. As a little child, as a 3-year-old, I saw he did not belong in that agreement. So what I did was I created a new agreement with him. Every time I saw him, I hid. It was easy. So that worked for me. I'm out of here because I have this Pact Agreement going with the mom. You see? Everyone, little minds, they're calculating, how do I survive? What do I do to get my needs met? And how do I love? How do I receive love? And the only way our society has taught us is through these chords. All right. Freeing chords allows us to shine our light wherever we are. We go, we realize, we have these awakenings, the epiphanies. Maybe someone had a similar experience as a child, and we wake up and we're in metaphysics and we realize, oh my God, I don't have to go through this anymore. This is fabulous. I'm cutting all the cords. I'm awakening, and I'm going to immediately divorce my biological family. They are history. Anybody been there? They're gone. I'm not dealing with them anymore. And then we get our mindset on metaphysically, and we say, okay, I'm going to find my spiritual family, and I'm looking for those of like consciousness. Everyone said that. What does like consciousness mean? That they're like me? That they agree with me? How much inclusiveness is in like consciousness? Are we not seeking to chord once again with people who will now feed us at this new level that we want to be fed at? Do you see? All right. I wanted to share what Jesus said about family. Ready? This is a very famous saying. He's at a talk and someone says, your mother and your sister are here. And he says, who is my mother and my brother and my sister? Who are they? Behold, men recognize their family, mother, father, sister, brother, here in flesh. But in the veil, when we walk through the veil, men walk in realms of the soul. And the tender lines of love that bind the groups of fleshly kin and family will fade away. Not that the love for anyone will be the less, but men will see in the sisterhood, the fatherhood, the brotherhood of man. The family groups of earth will be lost in universal love and fellowship divine. And then he said, whoever lives the life and does the will of God is child of God, and is my mother, father, sister, and friend. And then he went to talk to his mom. In that moment, what Jesus was trying to do was realign the identity of the people so that they were no longer looking to the earthly family to tell them who they were. But he was trying to lift them up to the heavenly family to say, we are bigger than these limitations you have put on one another. We are bigger than these expectations you put on one another. And when we lift into that spirit of soul, we are all family. We are all brothers and we are all sisters. And the love is exponentially increased, not diminished. That's moving from conditional love to unconditional love. White Eagle said, I wanted to read it to you. I get this one all the time, and we get it as a church all the time. Whatever your trouble, put God and thoughts of God in place of that trouble. Think godly things, even if he does not appear to be doing so. See, your brother man is striving toward God. See the world growing more spiritual.